I've never been challenged before. I don't know.
So it is just after 11:30, so I will begin with the election of officers. So again, yes, Councillor Sadik.
I nominate Councillor Tozo.
Perfect. Councillor Tozo, do you accept that nomination? I saw the mayor seconding that.
Yes, seconding that.
Yeah, so
I
accept the
will. I
nomination.
will.
Perfect. So, and then, so I'm just gonna put that in my notes
Can I
here.
borrow your pen, please?
There you go.
Type it all my things.
So Tozo chair, and then, do I have a mover or a secretary for vice chair? We'll just do the vote at the same time.
I'll nominate Councillor Osanik.
Councillor Sadik for vice chair, and you accept, and
Yes.
not, okay, perfect. So all those in favor for Tozo, and that is carried. So happy to turn it over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We'll call the meeting to order. I have 11:31 a.m. on Tuesday, May the 9th. We have an approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Councillor Osanik, seconded by Mayor Patterson. All in favor? Okay, confirmation of minutes that the minutes of the awards committee meeting number 01/2022 held on Monday, May 9th, 2022 be approved. Motion by Mayor Patterson, seconded by Councillor Osanik. All in favor? This is so easy. Three people. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Any delegations? No briefings. So we will move on to business. So we have the business presented as forward. Any changes to how we want to conduct the business? Councillor Osanik?
I amend that we start with distinguished awards first. There's
That's
lots of
fine.
them.
Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
So I'm fine with that. So we will do the first capital distinguished citizen awards. I think that the best thing to do would be to open it up to nominations and then have a discussion and then put it down to votes if there are multiple awards or whatever we would like. So yeah,
If I could just throw an additional proposal, obviously it's subject to the views of the committee, is that there's a lot of good people that have put their name forward. This is always, in past years, we haven't had nearly as many applicants and not nearly as many good ones. So this, I think, is going to be a relatively difficult choice for us. One of the things we've done in the past is that we have set the first capital distinguished award as being, the top award, but ultimately there are often other individuals who are really, really good in the first capital distinguished citizen award category. And what we've often in the past done is use the second award, which is the first capital honorable achievement award, as sometimes like a secondary, like almost not a runner-up, but in some ways we've taken liberties with the categorization. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So if you guys are comfortable with doing that, I'm fine to take that approach. If you prefer to be very strict on, this is what we've applied for, we can, but I've just found that sometimes that's an easier way of managing the applications.
I'm fine with that. If you're, yeah. And do we usually just have one distinguished citizen award in back?
So yeah, usually we have one first capital distinguished citizen award, but we can have sometimes two or even three.
Perfect.
Which sometimes helps to kind of manage because we could talk about who we think is the top person and then, but also make sure that we're able to recognize two or three others that we think are candidates.
Okay, so if it pleases the committee, what we'll do is we'll do nominations and the one who isn't selected, we will add them to the honorable achievement award, if that makes sense. So I'll make note of that. So why don't we then open it up to nominations and see who gets nominated?
Okay.
So, Councillor Osanik, do you want to start or Mayor Patterson?
I
You
can
wanna go
start.
first?
Yeah. So for distinguished citizen award, like my first choice would be Linda Colgan, because of Science Rendezvous, because it's been around for a long time. It's a huge event. It helps all the kids in Kingston, and I believe this is the first time she's been nominated. So, yeah.
Mayor Patterson?
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I read through this list, Linda Colgan's name was the one. This is the 25th anniversary of Science Rendezvous. I think it's perfect timing to recognize her. And to be honest, there are some individuals that do great work that do more of like volunteering and just kind of helping. she leads it. It's her leadership, it's her passion. It happens because of her. And so absolutely, I think that she would be the best choice for first capital distinguished citizen, and then being able to consider a few other people in the category for honorable achievement awards would be great.
Could you take the chair for a sec?
Sure.
Yeah.
Take chair recommendation.
Thank you. I completely agree. Looking through this list, that was the one that stood out, and that was my number one. So I feel like we're in complete agreement.
Great.
Super.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Can you give the chair back to me?
Thank you.
I mean, there's only
Your comments. I
there's
return
only
the
three
chair
of us,
to
so
you.
we could do musical chairs here, but so I think that there's no real debate about this, but I think we all agree, but let's do a vote of Linda Colgan as the distinguished citizen, unless there's any further discussion or nominations.
Normally we, sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, normally for this, we kind of combine them all as one big motion at the very end, but we can do a vote.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
For individual ones, if that is your desire. But since it seems like there is a consensus here, we can probably just move on, and then we'll vote all the nominations together at the end.
Perfect. Okay, then is there anybody we want to put in the honorable mention category, the honorable achievement award from this category that isn't in the other one? Because
So just a couple of comments. Marcy McMillan is actually in both categories anyways. So I thought that, she's done a lot of great stuff. And it was actually interesting because I found that the submission under honorable achievement wasn't all that, it didn't strike me, but then the submission under first capital seems more advanced and more detail. And so, but since she's already in the honorable achievement category, but I would just make sure that if we are considering to refer to the material in the second application under the first capital distinguished. The only other person that that caught my eye was actually the last one, Krista Stairs, who I don't know, but I was just impressed with the stuff that she has done as well. So.
Yeah. Like the runner-ups I picked, like for Linda Colgan, would have been Janice Barling.
Janice Barling.
Janice Barling.
I forgot.
However, like I do know that for honorable, there's a lot of people in honorable that are top contenders as well.
Well, why don't we put Krista Stairs and Janice Barling into the honorable category, and then we can debate them there, and then we can move on to the honorable category. This has been good. So let's move on to the honorable achievement award. Do we have a limit on how many people do we usually have for this?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I have looked at the history before. It's generally between as low as 2, as high as I think the maximum was 5 or 6, which is a bit high.
That's a bit high.
So I would say probably about 4 is about the highest it's possible to go, but I think
That's high too.
Yeah, Derek's quickly looking up the history, I think.
Yeah, if you look at the recent history, it's about 2 to 3 maximum per year. In the original year, there was like 5 or 6, but that was the first time.
Yeah.
Of course.
If I could propose, maybe we could aim for 2.
Okay.
If we just can't agree on 2, then maybe we leave a third as just, as an option.
I'm comfortable say 2 to 3, and then So we'll open the floor to nominations. Presumably the 2 from the previous category are nominated. So we have Janice Barling and we have Krista Stairs so far nominated. Are there anyone else that anyone sees that they want to nominate from the list? Councillor Rosen?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Michelle Hebert for the Sox Kingston, especially because I heard her on the radio one morning, talked about it in detail, and that was like the first time I learned about it. Also, Michael Lee has done many things. He had an impressive application, and also Michael Sayer.
I do apologize. I have to leave this to my son's school.
Yeah.
Oh,
go
sure,
ahead.
yeah.
No worries.
I take the chair.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
take
take
recess.
recess.
We'll recess and just
Okay.
continue chatting.
We'll just mute. Back live.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, we were back in the conversation.
Right, and then Michael Sayer.
Say,
That's how you say it. last
Sayer,
name, Sayer,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just because of all the gardens that he looks after, that's a lot to do as a volunteer.
so we have 6 right now that we've nominated. So for nomination, I have Michael Hebert, Michael Lee, Marcy McMillan, Michael Sayer, Janice Farling, and Krista Stairs.
Okay.
Is there anyone else we want to add to the preliminary nomination list?
No, no, I think that's lots.
Yeah.
Now the tough part.
So we'll begin voting, I believe, is,
However you want to run it.
yeah,
Could we-
or do we just want to have a
could we
informal
chat?
discussion? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I think one of the things we could think about is how do we prioritize? So there's 2 ways we could look at people that have done a number of different things over a number of different years, or someone that has done one thing and really led it for a number of different years. Like sometimes I find if we talk through kind of like just a criteria, what we think is most important, that can help us to kind of narrow down who we think might work. But I mean, I'm open to your thoughts about what you think is a better threshold. Generally, I think if I could suggest, maybe it's a number of years. I think longevity is important here. So somebody that has demonstrated whatever they've done for a significant period of time. Yeah, that would be one thing I would suggest.
Exactly. For you, Mr. Chair, so is it 5 people or 6? I think
We're at
missing
6
one
right now.
person.
So I have
So we have
Michelle-
Michelle, Michael, and
Marcy,
then the other Marcy.
Marcy
Do I have
McMillan was
Marcy?
highlighted, yeah.
Marcy, okay, I do have Marcy. Okay, but I didn't mark her 6.
Michael Sayer, Jim Sparling,
Yes, and then
Susan-
Krista.
Yeah, Krista. So I'm open to whatever criteria people want. So I mean, it struck me that Janice Sparling has done a really great, excellent job with her work, and that seemed like something to recognize. Michelle Hebert was another person I had as well, but again, that's just my preliminary list. You're welcome to. Yep.
So I'm happy to support Janice. Again, when I look at the breadth of things that she has done
And longevity.
and
It's
longevity,
Park
exactly
Coast
right, is
few
quite
years
a number of
ago,
years
yeah.
ago. I think that, I think that Janice would absolutely qualify. So I'm happy to do that. It's always awkward to argue why somebody shouldn't be deserving.
Mhm.
So I think I'll stay away from that, but maybe we could look at 1 or 2 others just to argue for sticking in.
Councilor Rosanna, do you have any?
And if we look at the number of things and also the length of things, like Michael Lee has a number of things and it goes back a few years now. I don't know. The stocks was a big thing, but only for the last year. The socks are important. Mhm.
I think I'll put an argument in favor of Marcy McMullen. And I'm just doing that because again, this is going to her file under the first kind of Distinguished Citizen Award. Rotary Club, Easter Seals, Almost Home, Kingston Humane Society, Kingston Four Paws Service Dogs, first annual Easter egg hunt, Go Nuts Rotary Nut Drive, Rotary Club Oktoberfest, Gnome Making Fundraiser. There's just a lot of things there that I think, yeah.
I'm fine with that. It's a second reflection. Councilor Rosanna?
Yeah, that's fine.
And do we want to just do the 2, or is there a third one that we're having a real? I mean, these are all really admirable people,
Mhm.
but it's hard to.
They're given out on July 1st, and it takes a while to go through all the nominations. Are we not doing it July?
Correct
1st?
me if I'm wrong. I think we've changed it this year. Is that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I am not aware of the awards changing when they're being distributed. I can certainly contact our colleagues over in communications and in special events and see if it has changed, but we will circle back on that, absolutely.
There has been some discussion about whether it would happen July 1st or at like the Multicultural Arts Festival in the fall, you know, somewhere where there would be a bigger crowd.
Okay,
Were you there last year?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. I
Because they
was
didn't
with
have
John
the-
and Gladys.
Because they didn't have the parade, it was as big of a crowd.
Right, right.
So we just want to make sure that there's an event where there's a lot of people.
Okay.
My apologies. We're just chatting away.
No, I'd rather, it's small, this is small enough that we can,
Okay.
yeah, not a sticker prefer.
Tell me to get in line if needed.
It's, oh, I'm not prepared to do that. 5 months going versus how many decade? No, that's not, that's not within my chair rights.
Mr. Chair, I think we're good with 3 awards so far. Because we still have to do the youth.
Sure. Well, right now we just have Janice Barling and we have Marcy McMillan and we don't have any others that we're,
And then Linda.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh, and-
year, so
okay,
I'm just doing total.
then I'm fine with that. If we want to move on to the youth awards, I'm good with 2. If unless there's somebody else who's really. Okay, then we're good with Marcy McMillan and Janice Barling, sorry, for the first capital honorable achievement award. Everyone's good. We'll move on to the Mayor's Award for Youth Volunteerism. And here we have several different categories. There's post-secondary, secondary, and 5 to 8 that are within the nomination categories. And how many do we usually have for those?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we for the last few years, it's been normally 1 per age group.
Mhm.
So there would probably be about 3 awards there.
Okay. We'll open it up to nominations then.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair, I nominate ETN for grades 5 to 8 category for the pocket bunnies.
Yeah.
Buddies.
Perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Yeah. Any for secondary school?
So maybe I'll kick things off. This one isn't quite as easy. I think Athena, is a good candidate. And then also, is it Thomas? Just maybe I'll put Athena first and then see if Councillor Sanik has another.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I have Thomas and I also have CK.
Yes,
CK.
CK.
I thought CK as well would be good.
CK. Okay.
It's challenging because they're all great kids.
They're all really good.
Yeah. So why don't we just open it up to discussion? And so we're between those 3, Athena, Thomas, and Sakai.
Could I suggest that, so if we've all nominated someone different, we could all just explain why and just hear our own thoughts and perspectives? Right.
Sure. So through you, Mr. Chair, I had Thomas because he did things like for the community. He did like a sumathon fundraiser and also his coaching, which helped many kids as well as his swim instructor hours. I had Sika because of the innovation she had, right? Like of leading, going to the college, like with the black hair workshop, which I also read about in the newspaper not too long ago. And her involvement at the school with the LCBI panel of excellence. And, you know, I think also she did work like for, you know, like Black History Month, that's the diversity.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think Sika was a great candidate, I think, in terms of innovation. I looked at Athena just simply again because of the breadth. So volunteering from Lakeshore Community Pool and then the city and then with the Youth Advisory Council, and then the volunteering at KSS as well. So it was more just the breadth of things that she's doing. But I'm happy to support Sika as well, especially if both of you have identified her. I also had her down as someone.
Yeah, I thought the diversity aspect of it was quite
Sure.
quite something, and the breadth of the experience as well. So Sika, are we all agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Sika, we have Etienne, and now we have post-secondary. This
This is also hard.
So I'll open it up.
Yep, through you, Mr. Chair, I had Sarah and also Ravner.
Mayor Patterson?
So Ravner, I just noted the application was late. I know that.
Oh.
That's a big deal. Just,
Mhm.
but I'll just note that. I guess that's something we can discuss.
I meant to look that up, like which one was late.
Right. So I guess a couple of comments on the post-secondary. Number one, there's a few people that are students at Queen's. And I think that that's great. What I generally in the past have looked for is what they've done off campus as well as on, right? If they've done great stuff on campus, then I think they should be recognized for an award at Queen's. So I'm usually looking for something that they have done inside of the community. So Ravner certainly has that as well. And then I also had Emma, the first person as well, just again, a variety of things in the community.
I had Sapka for the for just to work with people with disabilities as well. I thought that was fascinating, but I thought Sarah was a great option too, and Ravner as well, because there's a breadth of experience there, both within Queens and the community. But again, this is a tough category because there's so many good options there. Let's start with these. Ravner has done a lot. Like that's a very broad breadth of skills and contributions. So
Yeah. I've had like three Mr. Chair. I've had like if someone gets an award through Queens, then like maybe this is the wrong stance to take, but then it's like, okay, that's awesome. They got all that recognition.
Yeah.
And then to also give a Kingston Citizen Award, like that's, so I wish that we knew the results of the Community Stewardship Award for Ravnar, right? Because if you've noticed, all the applications that were sent reference the Community Stewardship Award, which
Yes.
just had its deadline April 23rd. Like there wasn't much that was specific. It was all copied over to then the application for our application, like all the letters of reference, all reference the Queen's Community Stewardship Award. And I hope he gets it for, the Queen's Bachelor of Health Sciences. It's just, we only have so many awards. And so if you get recognized one way, do we also recognize them when we have so many other candidates? That's where I'm.
Sarah was also impressive. I think that was it's an easy yes for me too. There.
Was Sarah more concentrated on Queens versus community?
It
was
was,
the only
there
thing.
was
Yeah.
the Queens,
Yeah.
That was the only thing.
but not everything.
Not everything?
No,
Just-
it wasn't everything with the faculty, like for some people, they might have to do things as part of their degree, that's community involvement. With Sarah, it wasn't so much, it was things she was doing on the outside, but it is true, like she's a student,
Yeah.
so she's a
Okay.
student at Queen's.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think I'm persuaded for Ravner.
Yeah.
I just think,
Yeah. That's a lot of experience.
and just the community outreach, right? The
Mhm.
number of community
Mhm.
organizations that, that he's helped. I think that's.
Yeah, Lunch by George, Ryandale,
Yes.
Yeah.
international students, the soccer, the food bank.
Right,
Yeah.
I just think that.
Yeah, it's impressive. Okay. So I'm good with Ravner.
Okay.
So,
All right, so I will read out what we have. So that Echen Bougie Sakai Chikozi, I'm sorry for the mispronunciation there, and Ravnor Kang received the Mayor's Award for Youth Volunteerism. And that Janice Barling and Marcy McMillan received the first Capital Honorable Achievement Award. And that Linda Colgan received the first Capital Distinguished Citizen.
okay,
And mover and seconder, Mr. Chair.
moved by Mayor Patterson, seconded by Councillor Cynic, all in favor? Passes. Okay, we'll move on. Motion, no motions, no notices of motions. Any other business? Correspondence. Day of next meeting to be determined and a motion to adjourn. Councillor Cynic, Mayor Patterson, all in favor?